Hi, and welcome to WearAware's first webinar. My name is Tia Flick. I'm a partner here at WearAware, and we are going to be starting to put on webinars about once every other month or so. And we're really excited to kick off our webinar series with Dan Caro. He is going to be talking about simplifying the IBM Marketing Cloud roadmap. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Dan.
All right, thank you, Tia. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our webinar this morning. We're going to be discussing simplifying the IBM Marketing Cloud roadmap. So we're going to be talking about three things today. First off, we're going to be looking at what the IBM Marketing Cloud is. Then we're going to be looking at what tools are in the IBM Marketing Cloud. And then finally, we're going to be looking at how they might apply to you and your business goals. So Tia gave me that great introduction. Just a little bit more about myself. I'm the Director of Marketing Operations here at WearAware. I manage the day-to-day operations of our agency marketing team. You can follow me on Twitter at dcaro12, and if you want to interact with others on Twitter for today's presentation, you can use the hashtag IBM Roadmap. So that way you can follow along with that hashtag and see what others are tweeting about today's presentation. I would say even more importantly than that, if you have a question during today's presentation, make sure to chat it over to our admins using the Q&A window and go to webinar. That way, Tia here will compile those questions and she'll pass them on to me at the end of the webinar. So this is your first webinar with WearAware. You might ask, okay, who's WearAware? So we're an IBM business partner, and we create personalized websites, awesome behavior-based email campaigns, and smart mobile solutions. We're located in Chantilly, Virginia, which is in Northern Virginia, and it's right in the middle of the DC metro area. If you know where Dulles Airport is, we're right by Dulles Airport, and the planes fly over our building every single day. So a little bit more about us. We've won 23 awards, including the 2016 EEC Email Marketing Program Award, the 2015 IBM Beacon Award for Smarter Commerce, and the 2015 IBM Partner of the Year Award for the IBM Marketing Cloud. We have 26 IBM Marketing Cloud certified experts on staff. We've built over 200 websites. We work with 65 email clients. Last year alone, we sent over 1 billion emails. We currently have 71 employees, and we've been in business for 16 years as a digital agency. So you might ask, who are our clients? Here's just a sampling of our clients. We work with B2B e-commerce companies. We work with B2C e-commerce companies, and then we work with your more traditional B2B service companies. So before we dive into the IBM Marketing Cloud, here's our disclaimer for this webinar. So this webinar is based on our collective opinions here at WearAware. Your experiences, quoted prices, and level of effort may differ, so as they like to say, your experience may vary. And we're presenting this as a snapshot in time of the IBM Marketing Cloud as it stands today. So talking about the IBM Marketing Cloud, it's like chasing a moving target. So today we're going to talk about it as it stands today. Subject to change, it could very well change tomorrow, but as it stands today, that's what our content is about. So let's look at our agenda for today. First off, we're going to take a deep dive into the IBM Tools for Marketers. Then we're going to look at when these tools will be available. Then we're going to look at the cost and effort to install and use each of these tools. And then when we talk about that, so in some cases there's development cost in addition to set up an ongoing cost. So it's kind of, we're taking that all into account and trying to give you a good idea about the total cost and the total level of effort to install each of the tools. Then we're going to look at how you can leverage each of those tools to be a more effective marketer. And then finally, we're going to look at some key takeaways. So you're joining us today for this webinar. We want to make sure you have at least a couple things that you can take home with you that you can get started on right now. So IBM has many marketing tools, but before we dive into those tools, let's give a little bit of background. So if you've been to IBM conference or joined an IBM webinar in the past couple of years, there's a ton of logos and a ton of names floating around. And over the past 2 years, like some of those names have changed, so sometimes it's hard to even keep track of what's what. Some of these products have been grouped together, so you're not even sure at this point like what's grouped with what and how it all fits together. And then you might also be asking yourself, like, I'm seeing a lot of logos on this slide. I don't know what it all does. So hopefully today we're going to be able to explain what everything on this slide does, what the new names for everything are, and like what the puzzle for the IBM Marketing Cloud looks like, how it's all starting to come together. So again, just talking about that disclaimer that I gave at the beginning, these names and groupings change. In the past, they've changed often. So again, this is a snapshot in time, but we're going to talk about it as it stands today. So first off, let's get a confusing part of the IBM Marketing Cloud out of the way right off the bat. So the IBM Marketing Cloud means two things. First off, it was the tool formerly known as SilverPop. IBM purchased SilverPop. And then they purchased SilverPop to compete against these other marketing tools that exist in the industry right now. So you've got your Salesforce Marketing Cloud, you've got your Oracle Marketing Cloud, you've got Adobe Marketing Cloud, and obviously with IBM's purchase of SilverPop, they want to join that group, join that bunch. So very easily you can see how that goes together, and then they decided to call it the IBM Marketing Cloud. That makes sense. But what it also means is the product suite of marketing tools that IBM owns. It's like you see on the slide here, it's Digital Analytics, it's Journey Designer, it's Tea Leaf, it's all of these products in their marketing suite. So so the IBM Marketing Cloud means two things. And just to keep it straight in this webinar, when I'm talking about the SilverPop IBM Marketing Cloud, I'm just going to call it SilverPop, because if I call it anything else, it's going to be too hard to keep it straight. So I know it's called the IBM Marketing Cloud, but for the purposes of today, I'm just going to call it SilverPop, so hopefully everyone can follow what I'm talking about. So I just started, and I'm hoping you're not feeling like this right now. I know that it all can be a little overwhelming. I know it can be a little confusing, but hopefully as I keep going, it'll start to make a little bit more sense to you. So simplifying the IBM Marketing Cloud. First off, we're going to be talking about the tools. Then we're going to be talking about how the puzzle comes together, like basically the vision behind the IBM Marketing Cloud. So we live in an omni-channel world. Users' buyer journeys can start anywhere. And just to give you an example of this, like let's say that you're at Target this weekend and you need to buy a new vacuum cleaner. You walk into Target, you see all the vacuum cleaners, you decide on one that you really like. So at that point, you can make the decision, like I'm either going to purchase this right now, or I'm going to pull out my phone, I'm going to look online, I'm going to see what it costs on Amazon, I'm going to see what it costs on Sears, I'm going to price shop. So basically the buyer journey can start anywhere. Either they're going to make that purchase in the store, they're going to start making that purchase online, they're either going to do research online, then go into the store, or go into the store to actually look at the products and then do the research online and buy. So we're living in a completely omni-channel world where buyers can choose to start their journey wherever they want, and in some cases they're doing both at the same time. So consumers are controlling the buying process, and the line is blurring between the online and offline shopping experience. So here's what we like to call the IBM Marketing Cloud puzzle. Like the point of this is to understand and act on the customer journey. And you can start at any point around this circle. You can start by understanding your customers, or planning your budget, or designing and building your marketing content, or listening to your customers' behaviors. And I wouldn't say you'd probably start with optimizing your performance, but that's part of the whole cycle. And you're trying to do this while engaging across all of your marketing channels. But you can start anywhere. But what IBM is looking to do is giving you the tools to start so that you're doing all of these things, so that you're understanding your customers, you're planning your budget, you're designing great customer experiences, you're building great marketing content, you're listening, and if you're listening, you're using IBM's Universal Behavior Exchange, or UBX, to do that, and then you're optimizing your performance. Now let's take a look at the suite of tools that are in the IBM Marketing Cloud. So we have the tool formerly known as SilverPop. We've got IBM Marketing Cloud, so we're just going to call it SilverPop for now. And we're going to talk about program blueprints, mobile push notifications and SMS, and programs 2.0, which are all going to be within SilverPop. And then on the right side of the screen, we have all of the standalone tools. We've got Digital Analytics, TeamLeaf, Journey Analytics, UBX, and Journey Designer, which at this point, it seems like they're all falling under what's considered customer experience analytics, and IBM is looking to group those together. And the one that's really uncertain right now that is truly a standalone is Journey Designer, but it seems like all signs point to the fact that Journey Designer is going to be moved into SilverPop in the near term. So are you feeling overwhelmed yet? Hopefully we haven't lost people. Hopefully nobody's dropped off the webinar yet. But it's a lot to take in. But right now we're going to try to break down each tool one by one, and hopefully by breaking it down one by one, we'll give you some clarity into what everything does and how it all fits together. So the IBM Marketing Cloud, formerly SilverPop, I'm going to call it SilverPop. It's an outbound messaging tool. You can send outbound communications using email, SMS, which is text messaging, mobile push, in-app messages, and you can also use it to publish social posts. So it still remains a very powerful marketing automation tool, but new features are being added every single day that's going to make this tool even more powerful. And as you can see, it's a messaging tool. Right here we're showing an example of like the email that we created to promote this webinar, and this is what it looks like in SilverPop. So if you've never used SilverPop before or unfamiliar with it, this is what the nuts and bolts of it looks like. So the first new tool in SilverPop that we're going to talk about is Program Blueprints. So what Program Blueprints does is it allows you to build programs faster and easier than ever before. If you go into Program Blueprints today, there are 10 pre-built program templates ready for you to use right off the bat. You can start creating programs like welcome programs, nurture programs, and abandonment programs. And what Program Blueprints is best at is creating a starting point for a very simple program. So let's say that you wanted to create an abandoned cart program for your website. It's a great place to start for a simple program like that. It's not intended for a multi-step and multi-track complex program automation. If you want to do that, it's best to start with a blank program, and you can still do that on your own. This is for like the out-of-the-box pre-built programs. And as we go through each of these features, I'm going to talk about, so when is it available? What is the level of effort to implement? And when I'm talking about level of effort, I'm just going to be using a low, medium, high scale. And this is based on our opinions here at WhereAware, but it's all a relative scale in terms of the level of effort to implement. And then also a cost scale, using that same low, medium, high scale, like how expensive is it going to be to implement. And that takes into account time, development cost, and then cost to actually purchase the tools. So for Program Blueprints, it's available now. The level of effort to implement is low because it's already in SilverPop, and there's no additional cost if you already have SilverPop. So this is a great tool to use if, let's say that you needed to promote a program, promote an event. It's already in there. All you have to do is build your emails and connect the dots. So configure your emails, configure your decision points. Once you've done that, you're ready to go, and you've got a program set up to promote your event. And then, like I said before, let's say that you wanted to do something simple, like a simple abandoned cart campaign. That program's already built out for you. You just have to create your email, plug it in, and you're ready to go. So next we're going to talk about mobile push notifications and SMS. So just to give a quick recap on what each is. A mobile push is an app notification if you have a mobile app. So if you have a mobile app and you get that little notification that pops up on your screen, that's exactly what a mobile push notification is. And your users, if you have an app, they'll receive them if they've allowed mobile push notifications from your app. So that's what that is. And then SMS is simply a text message. Almost anybody who has a mobile phone right now can receive text messaging. So that concept is pretty universal. So this is some really exciting news. So now mobile push notifications have been added to programs. So beyond just sending emails, now you can use the Programs tool in Silverpop to send out mobile push notifications. So you've heard all of this talk about omni-channel, multi-channel. Programs in Silverpop have now become multi-channel. It's beyond just email. So that's super exciting. So a couple things here. You need to have a mobile app. So if you have a mobile app, this is definitely applicable to you. It allows you to take a multi-channel approach to your programs, again, beyond email. You can reach customers on what they're likely to check most often. So as we all know, we check our phones a lot. By sending mobile push notifications, you get right in front of your customers. So this tool, if you have mobile push enabled for Silverpop, it's a tool that's currently available. The level of effort to set up is medium because it's going to require some development changes to your mobile app. And right now, there's no additional cost to set it up. It's something that can just be plugged right into programs. Now we're going to look at SMS. So SMS has also been added to programs, but this is one where you don't need a mobile app to be able to use it, but you do need mobile phone numbers for your customers. So I said that like mobile push allows you to get right in front of your customers right off the bat. I'm sure most of you can relate that you'll get a ton of emails. You might check them later, but if you get a text message, you'll probably check it pretty soon. So it's another way to engage with your customers quickly. And it's just another way to get your customers to engage across channels. So SMS is something that's currently available in programs. The level of effort to implement SMS is low, and the cost to implement SMS is low. So now we're going to talk about Programs 2.0. This is the new Programs tool that's going to make it even easier to build multi-channel programs. And it's a way to easily automate your customer journeys. And then another great thing about Programs 2.0, and it's one of my favorite things about it, is that if you showed customers programs as it exists now, it'd be very difficult to a non-marketer to take a look at that and understand what's going on. But with Programs 2.0, it's a very easy way that you could basically show this program to anybody and have them understand it. So that's fantastic. You can share with your team, have everyone be on the same page. This is something that they started rolling out with the spring 16.2 release. So it's available, I think, to most people with autoresponders right now, but the Programs 2.0 tool is going to be rolled out to everybody over the course of the next year. If it's something that you're really excited about and really want to be first on the list for, reach out to your relationship manager, and you may be able to be moved up on the list to try it out. But it's something that everyone's going to have access to over the course of the next year. Again, level of effort to implement is low. It's something that's going to show up in your Silverpop tool any day now. And there's no additional cost for it. Now we're going to look at Journey Designer. What Journey Designer is a visual storyboard, and it allows you to plan and understand all of your marketing campaigns. What it's intended for is to create omni-channel journeys. You can plan both your online events and your offline events, and you can see all of your channels working in concert with one another. But beyond just being a visual storyboard and a way to integrate all of your campaigns, what it also does is it actually is going to show your metrics and results all in one place. So if you've connected revenue with it, you'll be able to see revenue with it, and you can see how many individuals are at each step of the process. So that's very exciting. This is a tool that's available right now. The level of effort to implement is low. You just need to gain access to it, and there's no additional cost for it. So beyond what I just said, you can also collaborate with your team in real time. You can schedule tasks. You can assign work requests. And by collaborating with your team real time, it also allows you to create a consistent experience for your customers across all of your marketing channels. Another great thing that it does is that you can, using the collaboration tool, there's actually a chat feature. So if you want to talk about your journeys all at the same time, you can just chat with your team and talk about what you're working on within Journey Designer. Now we're going to talk about the analytics tools available. So we're going to look at IBM Digital Analytics, the tool formerly known as Core Metrics. We're going to look at T-Leaf. We're going to look at Journey Analytics. And then we're going to look at Customer Experience Analytics, which is a tool that brings all of these other tools together. So first off, Digital Analytics, tool formerly known as Core Metrics. It's like Google Analytics, but it gives you results to the individual level. Some people describe it as Google Analytics on steroids. Versus Google Analytics allows you to see aggregate results. It allows you to see your results at a macro level. Digital Analytics lets you see your results at an individual level, at a micro level. So it allows your analytics to be more actionable. This is a tool that's available now. The level of effort to implement is high because there's development cost and there's a tagging process that you need to go through. And the cost of the tool, we categorize it as medium. But the great thing about digital analytics is it allows you to take actions on your analytics. It allows you to break down your visitors into groups and retarget them with outbound messages. It also allows you to optimize your results. So if you're looking on the screen right here, you can see the days and sessions it takes for each of your customer groups to reach conversion. So let's say that you wanted to retarget these groups with either email or SMS or mobile push. By gathering this data and have it pushed over into Silverpop, it'll allow you to target these groups at an individual level with messages that apply to get them from one level to the next or to complete that stage in the journey. So the important distinction between Google Analytics and digital analytics is you can't trigger a campaign using Google Analytics, but it's something that you can do using the individual level tools in digital analytics. What digital analytics also allows you to do is benchmark your campaigns against your industry competition. Like you can basically see how you stack up against your peers. And it gives you the opportunity to compare your results against your peer group. So obviously this is great information to have. You may think you're doing well, but you're not sure how the rest of your peer group's doing. By having the ability to look at the rest of your peer group, you can see where you stack up and where you need to improve. So during this webinar, I've talked a lot about optimization. By having a comparison tool, it allows you to optimize even further. Now we're going to look at T-Leaf. The best way to describe T-Leaf is like a security camera on your website. You can see everything that's going on in your website. You can see every session that a customer's had on your website. And if something goes wrong, it gives you the opportunity to respond to what's going wrong. So literally, you can go to a specific session, press the play button, and allow you to replay the session that your user just had if they had issues. And then it allows you to more quickly and easily respond to those issues. So it allows you to see where your customers get stuck, and it allows you to respond very quickly if they do get stuck. This is another tool that's now available, but the level of effort to implement it is high and the cost is high. So this has to be a situation where this has got to be a critical tool for your website. It gives you the ability to recuperate a lot of lost revenue because you're really addressing customer issues and website errors that your customers are dealing with. So it's a great tool to have if you have customers dealing with issues like that. So a little bit more about Tea Leaf. Like I said, it alerts you to any issues your customers are experiencing. It'll alert you if your customers are having to repeat a process. If they're repeating a process, it shows you where they're getting stuck. And it's identifying your customer struggles page by page. So again, if we're talking optimization, okay, where are you losing them in the process? Where are they getting stuck? Where are they not moving beyond? You can look at website issues. You can look at website errors, address those errors, and recuperate any lost revenue that's associated with that. The next tool we're going to look at is Journey Analytics. And what Journey Analytics lets you do is visualize the customer journey. And you can visualize the journey at the individual level or for segments across all of your marketing channels. And then what it also does is it adds metrics to your journeys, the ones that you presumably created in Journey Designer. And it also shows you how many customers you have in each journey. So the best thing about this is it lets you see what are your most effective journey paths. And then you can make plans and decisions based on your results. This is a tool that's going to be available to you at the end of Q2. I know that Q2 is coming up very quickly. We don't have a date for it yet, but it's supposed to be a Q2 release. And the level of effort to implement Journey Analytics is high, but the cost is medium. And the high level of effort, that goes back to having to make development changes and change your tagging in order to be able to visualize these journeys. So just a little bit more on Journey Analytics. It allows you to identify the most common journey paths. It allows you to identify the most common traveled paths to conversion. It'll show you the duration to conversion, so how long did it take your customers to get there. It'll show you your revenue per journey path, the amount of unique customers you have in each path, and then it allows you to optimize and improve those paths. So you can add on to a journey or you can develop new journeys and you can see how those journeys are performing. Now we're going to look at Customer Experience Analytics. This is the tool that ties it all together. And the thought behind Customer Experience Analytics is that it combines Tea Leaf, Digital Analytics, Journey Analytics, and UBX. It's bringing all of these tools together. So what it's intended to be is just one single place that's a user-friendly dashboard for all of it. So if you're truly trying to go beyond just basic customer demographics and purchase history, this is the tool you want because it's going to put all of that great information that I just shared in one place. So if you're trying to understand who your customers are and what their journeys look like, this is the tool that you want to be using. So you can see where they are in the journey, where they are in the customer life cycle, and it's going to give you metrics for each one of those things. So you can have a very clear picture of what your customers and their customer journeys look like. So this one is another one. So like I said on the previous slide, this is coming at the end of Q2. We're not exactly sure. We don't have a date for it, but it's coming in the very near future. The level of effort to implement is medium/high, and the reason we weren't specific there is if you already have some of these analytics tools set up, it becomes medium because you already have a lot of this set up, so you just have to push it a step further. And if you don't have any of these tools set up, it's going to be a high level of effort, just like the other analytics tools we talked about. And the cost is expected to be medium. Another thing about customer experience analytics is that it shows you different views to show you behaviors and decisions. So this allows you to see which groups are in each path and which groups are traveling in each path using what channels. So you can see the customers who are just starting to engage versus your customers who are brand advocates, and you see how they're performing differently. So this is a great tool to see like what paths your most recent customers are using versus the paths that your most loyal customers, your brand advocates, the folks who love your brand, what paths they're using. So I've been through a lot of analytics right now, and like you might just have like a very simple question. My simple question is, Journey Analytics and Digital Analytics, what's the difference? How do they differ from each other? So Journey Analytics is intended to be for multi-channel. and path analytics. So it's taking an omni-channel look at your marketing channels, putting it all together, putting it within paths, and showing you your analytics that way, so online and offline. Digital analytics is tracking your website metrics by channel, but it's basically just online. Just if you need to think about it like Google Analytics, it's like Google Analytics, but at the individual level. Now we're going to look at the Universal Behavior Exchange, otherwise known as UBX. So a good way to think about UBX, it's like a data highway. It's a great way to think about it. It's passing behavioral data across your marketing channels. It's pushing it from one marketing channel to another one. And then another thing that it's doing is making all of your behavioral data actionable. You can take behavioral data that you're picking up in one tool and then acting upon it in another tool. And I think the best thing about it for me, or the thing that I love most about it, is that it's bypassing costly custom IT work. If you've ever had to set up integrations before, you know how much time it can take, you know how costly it can be. UBX is going to allow you to do it very easily. Just in a couple of clicks, you can set up integrations. So that sounds amazing. Instead of it taking months and having a lot of costs associated with it, you're able to do it in just a couple of clicks. And I'll show you a slide in a couple of slides that kind of shows you what it looks like and how easy it can be. And like I said, it just passes behavioral data between your marketing tools. So if you're picking up behavioral data in one, lets you act upon it in another marketing tool. It is a tool that's available right now. The level of effort to implement is low because it's simply just like taking integrations that have already been built, connecting them together, and there's no additional cost to use UBX if you already have the IBM Marketing Cloud. So the best thing to do right now with UBX is start looking at what partners work on UBX right now and what might work with your current marketing channels and marketing tools. Tools that you're already using might already have connectors built out in UBX, and then those are simple integrations that you can already start using. So like I was talking about, UBX passes data back and forth between marketing tools. So it allows you to create highly personalized retargeting campaigns because you're picking up behavioral data in one tool and passing it another tool to respond. So it gives you huge opportunities to personalize your marketing campaigns. Like all of that behavioral data that may have gone unused or ignored in the past, now it's becoming actionable data, and you can use UBX to pass that data along. So just a quick example. So this is what UBX looks like inside. So as you can see, it's just you put up your publishers on the left, you put up your destinations on the right, and it's just a simple like data highway. Those little lines in between represent that data highway, passing data from one to the other. So we've done an integration using UBX between digital analytics and SilverPop. So we're taking segments and individuals that we created in digital analytics, and we're passing them to SilverPop. And then that way we can take behavioral actions that they took on the website and respond to those in SilverPop. So we can create outbound messages in SilverPop based on those custom actions. So other ways to look at this, you can create session abandonment campaigns, you can create cart abandonment campaigns, you can create search abandonment campaigns, you can retarget individuals who visited certain web pages or category pages, and it allows that to be done very quickly and easily, and you can basically have a real-time response because all of this data is flowing in real time. And I'm going to show you an example of that in just a second. So just to visualize it very quickly, we're gathering data in blue here in IBM Digital Analytics. We're passing that through the data highway using IBM UBX, and then we're acting upon that data in the IBM Marketing Cloud, otherwise known as SilverPop. So here's an example of an abandoned cart campaign that we improved using UBX. So the use case here, when someone abandoned their cart, we would take that data, we would post it to an FTP overnight, and then we would respond with an abandoned cart campaign abandoned cart email the next day. I thought the program had reasonable results, had a 23% open rate, 23% click rate. We thought we were doing really well, but we're like, let's see how much better we can do using UBX. So we changed it, and so instead of sending the abandoned cart campaign 1 day later, we changed it to 1 hour later. So as soon as they abandon their cart, an hour later, they're going to receive their abandoned cart email. And what we saw from changing this time, we saw a 47% open rate and a 32% click rate. So for open rate, it was a 104% increase over what we were getting, and for click rate, it was a 39% increase. So needless to say, timing matters. Timing is critically important. If you can get these campaigns out quicker and have it be more contextual to your customers, it makes a huge difference. Like digital marketing and marketing automation is starting to become so much about the immediacy and the context of your messaging. If you can jump on it as soon as you've got the data available to do so, it's best to do it that way. And this is just one example of how it can work really well. So you're saying, all right, that was a ton of information, trying to process it all, like, all right, where do we go now? What's the next step? So after this presentation's over, we're going to be sending it out to everybody. But this is a great chart to refer to. It's going to be slide 49 of our presentation. It'll show you all of the tools that I talked about today. It'll show you the relative cost of those tools, the level of effort to implement, and the availability of those tools. So it gives you a great idea of what's available now and what the cost is to implement those tools. So if you're starting to think about where you want to jump in on the current IBM Marketing Cloud, it gives you a great snapshot of where it stands as of today. And another great thing to consider is that Program Blueprints, Journey Designer, UBX, and Programs 2.0, they're all available now and no additional cost. If you're looking at a place to start, that's a great place to start. So a couple of questions to think about just as we're finishing up here. First question, do you already have the IBM Marketing Cloud? Do you have the tools formerly known as Silverpop? That'd be a great place to start because for a lot of this, it ties it all together. Do you have a mobile app? Can you take advantage of the programs tool in Silverpop that allows you to send push notifications? Are you using SMS for marketing? Do you have the ability to take advantage of SMS being added to program tools in Silverpop, which will allow you to send out messages? Do you currently have an analytics tool? If it's Google Analytics, that's great. It allows you to check aggregate results at a macro level. But if you're truly looking for user level, individual level analytics, you might want to think about digital analytics. Are you tracking website errors and issues? And specifically related to this, how much revenue is being lost by website errors and issues on your website right now? If that has the potential to be a huge revenue loss for you, you might want to think about tea leaves. And then have you developed your customer personas and journey maps? If that's something that you're still working on and you're looking for the tools to assist you with that, Journey Designer and Journey Analytics would be great to think about for that as well. So just here, let's wrap up a couple key takeaways. So get ready now. Start gathering your customer behaviors using Silverpop or the analytics tools that you have right now. If you don't have sophisticated analytics tools like digital analytics, you can use web tracking on Silverpop to start gathering all of this information together. That way you have a lot of data to work with in the future. You don't have to wait till you get all of these great tools in the future. You can start right now. Next is analyze those behaviors. The best and easiest way to do that is have tools like digital analytics and journey analytics to assist you with that process. And then map your best path to conversion. Journey analytics allows you to do that. It allows you to see what your most productive channels are, what your least productive channels are, and where you're spending your time. I mean, if you're spending your time on your least productive channels, that doesn't make any sense. And spend your time on the channels that are really producing for you. And the best way to do that is to have a tool like Journey Analytics to get you there. All right. Now I'm going to pass it back to Tia, and Tia's been gathering questions throughout the presentation, so we'll take those questions now.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan, for that great presentation. Hoping that everyone got a really good understanding of the different tools in the IBM Cloud, Marketing Cloud. We do have some questions that have come in. So the first question we have is, how do you access Journey Designer?
You have to request it from your relationship manager. So if you don't already have access to it, talk to your relationship manager, and they can help you get access to it.
Awesome. Great, thanks. Okay, so we have a few more. The next question is, are there particular implications for B2C brick and mortar based business versus e-commerce to think about?
The tools still apply. I mean, so a tool like Journey Designer, it allows you to plan for those online and offline interactions. So even if your goal is just to get someone to walk into your brick and mortar store, like these tools will assist you to do that. I would say that so let's say that you're not using much, but SMS is a tool that you haven't even thought about or even started using. That's a great way to get somebody to maybe walk into your store that wouldn't otherwise walk into your store. Some people are scared of the concept of text messaging their customers, so that's something that you have to think about, but it's a new marketing channel that you may have not have thought to use in the past.
Great. And also, I think all of the tools have applications for non-e-commerce websites. Even if you have a website that's non-e-commerce in conjunction with a store, I think they can be used together to kind of help drive traffic to the store and then also respond to activities that you take in the store. Let's see. Here's another great question. Does any of the products you discussed today bridge with Transact or all engage?
They do bridge with Transact. I would say, and like I could take this question offline as well, but I believe that UBX does currently work with Transact. So UBX would be the first one to think about. And then the analytics tool, it depends if you're tracking analytics from your transactional messages.
Great. Okay, let's see. How much of what SilverPop has in-house is being replaced by UBX? For example, doesn't the SilverPop web tracking tag allow you to retarget based on web activities?
Correct, but you can now take that to the next level with all of the insight and analytics that you're going to be getting with tools like digital analytics and journey analytics. The web tracking is great within SilverPop. You can do a lot with it. You can track people who visited certain pages on your website. You can see whether they went all the way through to conversion. But there's so much deeper depth that you can get into with digital analytics and journey analytics that you couldn't do before. And keep in mind that it's real time. So think about my example that of the abandoned cart campaign that I showed for Mud Pie. Like, we were using SilverPop before to respond to that campaign. We had the data available. We were passing the data overnight, and we had a one-day turnaround to that campaign. But using digital analytics and UBX, we were able to take a one-day turnaround and turn it into a one-hour turnaround. And you saw the results. Open rate basically doubled, and we had a huge increase in click rates too. So context and immediacy matters. It's important, and these tools let you address that.
And I think it's also important to remember that UBX isn't necessarily replacing anything for SilverPop. It's just adding to it. UBX is strictly basically a pipe that leads from one software to another. So it's allowing you to pass data through. So all it's doing is making any data that you have in SilverPop, if you decide to use it to pass data to SilverPop, richer and immediate, as Dan mentioned. Let's see. How do you get access to UBX? And does UBX work with Google Analytics and the SilverPop web tracking, or does it require more user-specific information?
So It does not currently work with Google Analytics. To request UBX, you would go to, again, the best place to start is your relationship manager, open access to it. And then what I would recommend is just do a simple Google search for UBX. It'll pull up the page that shows all of the partners that it currently works with. So it gives you the ability to look at what partners it's currently available to interact with, and it'll give you a good starting point for that. But if you just want to request access to it, just go straight to Relationship Manager.
Yeah, and to answer the last part of this question, UBX will require a unique identifier. So that's the reason why it doesn't work with Google Analytics, because Google Analytics doesn't have that unique identifier. As Dan mentioned, why digital analytics might be a better solution for you than Google Analytics is because you can identify data down to the user level, which means that it can also be passed through to UBX, and you can get that really rich data into Silverpop if you wanted to. Let's see. I think we have one more question here. Mobile push is still a separate channel to be priced and added on to IMC, right?
That is correct. But now, like, it is priced separately, but it's now integrated within Silverpop, within programs, and now you can use that as, you can now use programs to send out your mobile push notifications.
I think that the cost for mobile push is actually part of any transactions that you're already doing in the Silverpop platform, which is why we said there's no additional cost. The only additional cost would be what, like another send based on, like if you did another email send, it's just like it's incorporated into that cost.
Correct.
What is, oops, let's see. Oh, and apparently it can also be priced as a standalone as well. So it can be a part of the Silverpop platform, or it can be priced as a standalone. So I think that's all we have right now for questions. So I just wanted to let everyone know that we are having another webinar on July 12th. And it's going to be a case study on MudPie, which you saw a few sneak peeks here in this presentation. And it's going to be talking about how we're tying the website in with the email and personalizing the entire experience for MudPie customers. So we'll include a link to that in our follow-up email that will also include the presentation and that handy-dandy chart that Dan talked about in his presentation. And also feel free to reach out to us and ask Dan questions whenever you feel like it. He loves getting emails from people to answer. So feel free to reach out there. And with that, we want to thank you for attending the webinar, and we're really excited and looking forward to seeing you on our next one. Thanks.